Mr. Cook, thanks for joining us on the MSUM Dragons podcast today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, we appreciate your time here on the More Than a Game podcast. And one thing that is happening this weekend that's a little bit more than the game is the It's a Slam Dunk, Don't Drive Drunk campaign as part of the NSIC, but also part of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, which you are a member of and are participating in the committee to help put on this event. So tell us a little bit about the It's a Slam Dunk, Don't Drive Drunk campaign and what you guys have been working on.
So It's a Slam Dunk, Don't Drive Drunk started 8 years ago. It started after Drake Bigler, the son of Southwest's head coach Brad Bigler, was killed in a drunk driving accident. He was only 5 months old. And so the Northern Sun decided to adopt an initiative asking fans to pledge to not drive drunk and to be responsible when drinking alcohol. And so over the past 7 years, the NSIC has collected over 55,000 signatures in the history of this event, which is really cool.
That's huge.
Seeing so many fans and so many supporters pledge to be responsible when they're drinking.
Well, it's funny because you think about it, the year one that you do it, and you're getting all these pledges, and there's a lot of momentum behind the tragedy that was. But to think about now, 8 years later, it's over 55,000 signatures. I mean, that's got to be, you got to think about the incredible wide-spanning impact that it is, and especially across the whole NSIC. So what that breaks down to, what does that break down to in our world here at MSUM? What is our role in that process?
So every year, we choose a basketball game that we want to have a table at, and we'll have a number of SAC reps sitting at this table collecting pledges from fans as they come into the game, and giving out information on It's a Slam Dunk, Don't Drive Drunk. And then we also hand out wristbands and branded keychains, just showing that you've taken the pledge and you support this initiative and you pledge to be responsible and to not drive drunk.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and the NSIC does a great job of rallying behind it. If you haven't seen the ESPN feature, I want to say it wasn't like a 30 for 30, but there was
E60.
An E60 piece, and it was so beautifully done because of the story of Brad Bigler and his family. It's incredible of what him and his family has overcome, what they've gone through, and to see the entire league back it and continue to back it the way they've had definitely makes me very proud to be a part of the NSIC. You are a part of, I want to say, of SAC, this committee specifically.
Yep. So
what's it like to be on the Student Athlete Advisory Committee that's helping all the student athletes engage in a bunch of different things and not just the It's a Slam Dunk, Don't Drive Drunk campaign?
Being on SAC is a really cool opportunity because you've been chosen by either your fellow athletes or your coaches as somebody they feel would represent the team well, and be a voice for the team and voicing concerns, asking for various things, or just helping out in the community and getting our teams involved in different community events. It's an absolutely incredible opportunity not only to represent your team, but to learn leadership skills for later in life, and to help prepare your teammates and prepare events that teach them what they need to know to be successful in life.
So like what? Give me some examples of some of those events or lessons or things that you've been a part of because of SAC.
So last year we had professional development where we would have speakers come in and talk about financial responsibility and various things like that. And then this year I was actually fortunate to chair a committee on the Green Bandana Initiative, which was a new initiative started by the NSIC this year. It was started by Winona State, then it spread throughout the NSIC. And that is training student athletes and training students around campuses to be aware of mental health issues, how to help somebody find resources that can help them if they're in a state of crisis, and just training people how to not only help others, but to help themselves if they enter into a time of crisis. It's been an incredible opportunity. We were able to work with Safe Talk for training for MSUM. We had 35 people go through our initial training, and we're planning on expanding that this semester or maybe next fall, and hopefully getting more people involved throughout the campus. It's just been a really cool opportunity. And another initiative that I'm a part of is I'm on the committee for our It's On Us campaign, which is the NSIC's campaign against sexual violence. We're still working on some projects with that. We're looking at getting involved with Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. it's been something that we were involved in the past and kind of fell away from, but we're looking at getting involved with it again. So that's some of the things I'm involved with, but there's committees on everything from the Make-A-Wish fundraising that happened at our last home games. That was really cool.
Yeah, we got over $2,000 for that.
Over $2,000
awesome.
donated to Make-A-Wish. Great project. And so then we also volunteer with different homeless shelters and people seeking to get back on their feet. We help hang out with their children while these people can go out and apply for jobs and get training. And so that's been a really cool thing to be a part of as well.
Yeah, it's been incredible when sometimes when that happens, some of those kids come to games and you see them running around in the kids zone. You see them sitting courtside and just forgetting about some of the heaviness of reality in their lives for just even a night, and allowing the parents to get some things done in order to hopefully make that a more frequent occurrence. But a lot of wonderful things that you guys are doing for SAC. And you personally got a wonderful experience in heading to LA. What was that like? Tell us about the event, first of all, and then what that was like for you.
So I was selected by the Northern Sun to represent the conference at a leadership conference last year in Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida, sorry.
It's because of weather, I was not able to go to that last year.
Oh.
And so the conference was gracious enough to select me again to represent.
You made me question my notes, sir.
I'm sorry.
So you did go to LA for a leadership conference.
I will be going to LA.
Will be going to LA. What's that? What's in store for that?
It's an opportunity for representatives from every conference in Division II to get together and to dive deeper into leadership skills for a weekend and just get training on how to be a better leader and how to equip the people around you to not only be better, but to be better leaders themselves so they can eventually progress and just become better people as a whole.
So you just described your involvement in mental health awareness, drunk driving prevention, sexual violence prevention, and leadership. Where did this come from? I mean, were you always kind of wired this way to try to help everybody and anybody? Like, how does this happen?
So, growing up, my mom is the principal of an elementary school in a lower income area of Minot, North Dakota. My dad teaches at her high school. And so I grew up hearing about the struggles of some families in my mom's school and being friends with these kids and just seeing everything that she does to help them and her commitment and her drive to ensure that everybody has the best life they could possibly have. It's something that I am really just drawn to, is if I can do something to make somebody else's life better, I 100% want to do it. I love serving people. I love seeing other people have a smile on their face. And if I can be a part of that, all the better.
So the fit with SAC was a no-brainer from whoever nominated and elected you. I mean, it seems to be right up your passion zone. And the leadership thing is also interesting because, you have the passion to serve, but also the passion to lead. And I don't know if those are very different in a lot of ways. But how has being a leader among your peers here, and not just serving the community around, but how has being a leader of your peers here helped your experience as a Dragon?
The opportunity to be a leader within Dragon Athletics is something unlike anything I've ever been a part of, just because...
Because you've had kind of an interesting experience here.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done a few things. So give us a quick recap, a quick Reader's Digest version of, which you probably don't know what Reader's Digest is. Give me the quick version of kind of your story here as a Dragon. Well, first of all, why'd you come here?
So initially out of high school, I went to South Dakota State. Was on the football team down there, had a couple injuries, and the coaches said I could either take a semester off and they bring me back on, or if I wanted, they would grant me a release and I could go wherever I wanted. And I knew I didn't want to take a semester off, and there was only one other school that I was interested in at the time, and that was MSUM. So right after I was granted my release, I texted Coach Murphy, I texted Coach Needham, started the conversation to get up here, came up on a couple visits, and started in the fall. I just really love the culture that Coach Lockway has built, and what he considers to be the Dragon way. It's an incredible thing to be part of, just the humility and the I mean, I talk about being a servant leader. Coach Lockway exemplifies that.
Every day.
And so that was absolutely incredible to be a part of that. So I was on the team for the, would that be 2018, 2019 season? And then coming into this year, I had hip surgery in January, so I spent the spring and I spent the summer recovering from hip surgery. Then in fall camp, I got a concussion. And that was my 4th concussion, my 2nd one in 2 years. And so the doctors with the team decided that it would be in my best interest if I was done with football. I had already talked to Coach Milner and at the time Coach Stroh, the throws coach for the track team, and they were welcoming me onto the track team in the spring. So when I was told that football was no longer going to be a part of my life, I was able to just jump right into track. And I talked to Coach Milner about me being a representative of track on SAC, and he said absolutely 100%, it's great. And so it was as seamless of a transition as it could be. But losing a part of your life, I mean, football had been a part of my life for 12 years. It was tough to deal with, but having the football team and the track team both knowing my story and with how tight-knit the athletics department is, players from every team that we have talked to me, reached out to me, made sure that I was okay and that, you know, I was going to be okay with everything. And that's something that helped me realize that Dragon Athletics isn't just a bunch of teams. It's one family. It's one unit.
Yeah, we like to say it is more than a game, and we look at these. Not everybody has a story. Is crazy. I'm just gonna say crazy because that is a crazy story. The injuries, the transfers, the one sport from another, the changes that you've had to go through in your experience here. Does it make you look at the athlete experience differently from what you've gone through and now how you represent all athletes as a SAC ambassador?
You know, it's made me look at athletics in a whole different light. Having a sport taken away is something that I had never thought about, and a lot of people don't think about. And now I've heard many stories of different people having it happen. And so something I've learned is how I can be there to support people if injury ends their career or when they're ready to graduate and they don't know what they're going to do without their sport. Right. Being able to give them some sort of wisdom, I guess, if you could say I have any. But
yeah, you've got some wisdoms.
It's made me look at it in a different way and really just take each day as it comes. Each day is a blessing. You can't take anything for granted in athletics because everything can be taken away in a blink of an eye. Yeah. So it's the same thing with life. Every day is a new day, and you have to live it like it's going to be your last. You never know which one will be. And
no better example than what we're talking about here for this weekend for It's a Slam Dunk, Don't Drive Drunk. Prayers obviously always go out to Coach Bigler around this time of year. And it's a wonderful initiative by the NSIC, championed by SAC. And, now coming up with SAC and your involvement with that leadership group within Dragon Athletics, we're also hosting the SAC Summit coming up here this summer. So,
we are.
Are you excited for that? And what do we got cooking for that yet? It's early, so I know we don't have to too much.
I'm very excited for it. I was fortunate enough to go down to Aberdeen last year for the summit. There was a lot of really cool conversation that happened, including the first ever strategic plan led by our very own Doug Peters, master of strategic plans.
Yeah, he's very good.
So it was really cool getting to hear his knowledge and his wisdom, and I hadn't heard him speak on this before, so it was really cool hearing his passion for it. Being a part of that first strategic plan, being part of the new initiatives that came about this year, such as the Green Bandana Project. And I'm really excited to have those conversations happening on our campus and being able to show people everything that MSUM has to offer and some of the fun things that there are to do around the FM community.
Well, it is going to be fun to host that. It's been, thank you so much for the time today. Absolutely. I know we're promoting a weekend, but to get to know you and watch your journey and struggles and successes here has been wonderful to have a front row seat to. So, congratulations, thank you, all that wonderful stuff, but appreciate the time today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.